Hello, Year 9. Well done for those of you that came along to our Zoom lesson earlier this week. Just a reminder that your Hitler and your Chancellor essays are going to be due in fairly soon, so just remember that you do need to be continuing work on those. But today we are going to be continuing on from what we did already, looking at Hitler's consolidation of power and the way he removed the different obstacles between him and total domination and dictatorship between January 1933 and August 1934. So, what we've looked at so far is we've looked at the Reichstag fire and the emergency decree that came after that, and how that allowed Hitler to suspend civil liberties and arrest people without trial, search their houses without a warrant, tap phones, read mail, and essentially just kind of arrest whoever he liked, restrict freedom of speech, and so on. And obviously, he made pretty good use of that by arresting 4,000 communists in a single night after the Reichstag fire, which saw the beginning of the concentration camps to hold them. But obviously, that was only one stage. Hitler then took it a step further. Once he went through with the election, the first time the Reichstag met, he got them to vote on something called an Enabling Act. Now, if you remember, the Enabling Act is a special law that allows Hitler to make policy, so to pass laws, without having to consult the Reichstag. I.e., it gives him basically dictatorial powers because he can do whatever he likes because none of those laws have to be voted in anymore. He just gets to pick what happens. Okay, so what we're looking at today is we're going to look at the follow-on from that. So how does Hitler use these new powers? All right, he's got the Enabling Act now, so he can use that to get rid of more people that have been opposing him. All right, so remember our big thing is we kind of listed all the different groups that are going to be between Hitler and power. Some of them are dealt with, so we dealt with the communists already, we've dealt with civil liberties, but we've still got the president, we've got trade unions, we've got the press, we've got local government, we've got the police, we've still got lots of organisations that need to be dealt with. They need to be brought into line, and that is what today's keyword means. All right, Gleichschaltung. It means bringing into line. Okay, and effectively, this is Hitler's process of bringing the main organisations in Germany under Nazi control. Okay, so if you look at this cartoon, you can see lots of different, all this different stuff is being turned into being all the same. All right, that is a kind of a visual representation of what Hitler's trying to do here. All of these different organisations with different kind of political beliefs and different ideas, all of them are going to be brought under the same Nazi ideology and the same Nazi leadership as part of this process of Gleichschaltung. So, what you're going to do today is you're going to have a look at what Hitler does to each of those institutions, so to the trade unions, to the press, and so on, and you're going to tell me how he Nazifies them. All right, so you can see here this poster shows you how that changed. Lots of different parties and lots of different political groups in Germany was transformed into just one Nazi superstate. That's what we're going to look at today. So you have got a table that looks like this. Okay, you've got different things that you're looking at. So the state governments. Okay, so obviously Germany, it has the Reichstag overall, but it also has different governments for different states. So places like Bavaria and so on. Okay, so how does he deal with them? Basically, what he does is he dissolves all of them, and then reopens them, but with the same share of votes as in the Reichstag, which means the Nazis are always going to be the largest party. All right. He then sticks a Reich governor, a Nazi, in each of those local governments to ensure they toe the line. Okay, so that is one organisation that Hitler Nazifies using the Enabling Act. All right, he passes legislation to make it more Nazi, to remove any hope of it opposing him. So what else has he got to do? He's got to do political parties, trade unions, the civil service. So those are the people that kind of work for the government. So they're administrators. It can include sort of people like teachers and so on. The police and the media. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to use this information sheet to tell me what Hitler does to each of those groups. Okay, how does he make them more Nazified? How does he bring them into line through this process of Gleichschaltung? Okay, so for each one, you've got to tell me how they could challenge Hitler's authority, and then how does he deal with it? So, as I say, with the state governments, each local government having its own say that could potentially challenge Hitler. So he brings them into line, he puts Nazi control in each of those governments, and that puts him in charge. So the same thing. Why are other political parties potentially a threat to Hitler? Why are trade unions? Why is the press? Why is the police? And so on. Okay, so what I'd suggest you do is carefully read, okay, about the information, because that'll help you realise who is who as well. Okay, so when you've done that big table, your next job is to kind of look at the consequences of what he's done, just to reiterate that. So on the left hand, you've got the various measures he took. On the right hand, you've got how it helps Hitler. All right, so it helps you to explain, okay, why each of those measures was necessary, and all you've got to do is draw lines. Now, gents, obviously, if you are unable to print, what you're going to have to do is, in this case, I would just do the questions, do the headings, okay, in your book and handwrite it in. And in this case, you're going to have to copy it out, okay? So copy each one out with the matching consequence, okay? Just so it ends up in your book somehow. Obviously, if you're able to print, just do that. Okay, so we'll go through this next time. I'll see you in our Zoom lesson. All right, but that is your work for today. Just looking at how Hitler brings into line, how this process of Gleichschaltung is carried out across Germany in the months following the passing of the Enabling Acts. As ever, if you have any questions, please drop me an email, and please submit your work on Show My Homework with a photo, just so I can see that it has been done. All right, okay, guys. Hope that all makes sense, and I will see you in our next lesson at the start of next week. Thank you.